The psalmist said, "Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom. One generation will commend your works to another. They will tell of your mighty acts." Psalms 145, verses 3 and 4. Welcome to a celebration of the 75th year of Portland Christian School, that place many affectionately refer to as PCHS. It is indeed a wonderful privilege to acknowledge the grace, power, and provision of God in His awesome work known as Portland Christian School. Portland Christian School is not so much an institution, nor the real estate and improvements at 2500 Portland Avenue in Louisville, Kentucky, as it is an organism created and empowered by God for the purpose of educating and encouraging young people in Christian ways. That the school is not an institution in a traditional sense can be seen in the many ways God continues to pour out abundant grace and blessings to make what we know as Portland Christian School. God has brought and continues to bring together people, resources, and events in a wonderfully blessed way, and it is in these dimensions that Portland Christian School is really defined. Portland Christian School is defined by godly people, the teachers, the administrators, the financial supporters, the prayer supporters, the board of directors, as well as the students and their parents, both current and past. Portland Christian School is defined by God's gift of godly people. Additionally, Portland Christian School is defined by the resources which through the years God has given for the purpose of operating a Christian educational institution. These resources include real estate, finances, and gifts of all kinds. Through the years, the property has dynamically changed, and beyond anyone's fondest dreams, the Lord has provided property, buildings, equipment, books, libraries, and other materials. Portland Christian School is defined by God's gift of resources. Portland Christian School is also defined by godly activities and events. These activities and events include all that goes on in the classroom, but it also includes much more. The activities and events that define Portland Christian include such things as mission trips, banquets, athletic and sporting events, and extracurricular scholastic endeavors. It includes white elephant sales, senior trips, parent support groups, and student organizations such as Christians in Action. We want to celebrate what God has done in the 75 years of Portland Christian School. In this celebration, we will briefly look at God's gifts of people, resources, and events over the past 75 years. As we celebrate, may God convict us again of what He has done and can do when His people are committed. It is a miracle to talk about the current existence of Portland Christian School at all. From a human perspective, the school should never have been started, and certainly its survival has been against all human probabilities and predictions. In modern terms, we probably believe that the opening of doors to the gospel in the nation of Russia is something we would have never seen in our lifetime. In the very same way, many at the beginning thought that Portland Christian School would never get off the ground, much less survive and prosper. Consider, if you will, the school was started by a very small church which had meager resources. Within a few years of the school's beginning, this country experienced one of the darkest financial hours of its history, the Great Depression. And still, this institution survived by the mercies of God. Within 17 years after the beginning of this enterprise, the nation was at war in a global conflict called World War II. The following decade held the Korean conflict, and the next contained the Vietnam conflict. These circumstances reveal only a portion of the reasons why this institution should not have survived, and would not have survived except for the grace of God. However, by the grace of God, it not only survived, it thrived. Wars have come and gone, and as well, nations have come and gone, but Portland Christian School has remained. Here's the way it started. It had been the dream of many at the Portland Avenue Church of Christ to start a day school because of the many disturbing changes taking place in the public school system. However, the church was small and its resources extremely limited. In fact, the leadership of the church was unsure if there would be any substantial response to an offering of a Christian education. Beginning in 1915, special prayer meetings were held at the Portland Avenue Church of Christ concerning the establishment of such a school. Finally, specific plans were made to begin a school for the scholastic year which began in the fall of 1924. Even as plans were being made, God was bringing together people, resources, and events for the inaugural year of operation. A man well respected within the community of believers at the Portland Avenue Church of Christ, namely Stanford Chambers, had been asked for many years to come to Louisville, Kentucky to begin the operation of a private Christian school. However, Brother Chambers had no plans to come to the Louisville area, and from 1916 until 1924 he had declined all such requests. In the spring of 1924, Stanford Chambers moved to Louisville, Kentucky from Florida, still without any plans to be involved in a startup Christian school. Upon his arrival, however, much pressure was exerted on him, and ultimately he agreed to become the first principal of the school. On September 2, 1924, after much prayer and with the vigilant encouragement of the Portland Avenue Church minister, Brother R.H. Bowl, the church established a school for grades 1 through 9. The church modified the back portion of its building to make 4 classrooms. It all began in 4 classrooms. There was hope that between 40 and 50 students would attend that first year. However, on the first day of classes, 65 students showed up to register for school. There were not enough desks and chairs for that many students, but Brothers Bowl and Chambers were determined not to turn any student away. They asked 15 students to leave for the morning session and return in the early afternoon, at which time places had been found for all 65 students. By the end of the first month, an additional 20 students had enrolled at the school. Despite the limitations of space and supplies, no student was turned away that first year. Many parents were asked to personally make arrangements for additional school supplies, including a desk for their child. The enthusiasm and interest was so high that it seemed no sacrifice was too much. There were 3 teaching positions that first year, including one held by Stanford Chambers. Alice Waters of Tennessee was a teacher for the whole year. Lois Chambers taught for 2 months before moving back to Florida. Brother G.B. Gasher filled in for 2 weeks until Laura Jones could come to take the 3rd teaching position full time. 3 teachers for 85 students, all in 4 classrooms at the back of the church building. What a beginning! All involved were much encouraged because of the overwhelming response. The first school year ended with a total enrollment of 85 students, nearly twice the number of students which the church believed would be interested in Christian education. The first year's interest in the school did not diminish in the following years, but rather increased. At the beginning of the next year, 150 students appeared. The interest in the school was beyond all expectations, and certainly the number of students in the second year of existence was not anticipated. In that second year, a cottage on the back of the school lot was quickly converted into a large classroom and served throughout the balance of the year as a homeroom, assembly room, chapel, and study hall. In fact, for many years to come, this converted cottage would simply be known as the study hall building. In this beginning, we see how God was bringing together people, resources, and events. Let's look more closely into these 3 areas to see how God has blessed in a most unique way in this wonderful entity called Portland Christian School. No one could say or write enough about the wonderful and godly people who have been a part of PCHS. From the very beginning, it was obvious that the school would be blessed with people who would give unselfishly of their time and talents, thereby leaving an eternal mark upon the school as well as the lives of the students who attended. One cannot talk about this school without talking about its administrators and teachers through the years. The administrators and teachers were responsible for getting the school accredited with the Commonwealth of Kentucky's Board of Education